Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 2332, Hello, it's Mike Matthews. How are yous? Excellent.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's a Tuesday and it's going to get busy this week, so I may not be so daily. Although I've been doing this every day since Friday, I think. Hey, look at me. It's been an interesting day. It's full of interesting things to say. And today, we're going to talk about why November is more than just a month.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's more than a month. It's more than a feeling. When you talk about November,
Mike's
it's more than a feeling.
Daily
So that's it.
Podcast.
The end of my song.
Yeah!
I hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't very long. Yes, so we'll just discuss that. I have been watching an honest trailers about that show on the Disney Channel about the new Marvel show, What If? And no. And another reason why I'm glad I don't pay for Disney Plus. What? Why? Is it people love Marvel so much they don't care what they're doing with it now? And this whole multiverse, the thing that DC Comics has been doing for quite a while, they did with a lot of their shows from the CW, all these different Earths and whatnot. It's too much. You gotta just stick to one planet, one timeline, one universe. Don't multiverse me. Okay, so it worked great with your Spider-Man Spider-Verse thing. People like that. I didn't watch that either. Maybe if I watched it, it would be the gateway into the whole multiverse and the Infinity Wars and everything else. But no, that's okay. Enough of that. Anyway, Cafe Anyway. It's Movember. The Movember campaign is about getting men to talk.
And here's today's podcast picture.
About their health. Oh, and this is a wonderful picture my lovely lady friend took recently in the mountains above Lake Chabot. You can see it in its Podcastro Valley, and that's where we are today, by the way. Cafe Anyway. Podcastro Valley, the last place on Earth. And this is FF episode 2332. It's a palindrome number. Same numbers in as out. So, what's this Movember thing? Well, back in 2003, that's right, Basil. Basil did not have a mustache. He had jowls, though. The late great Basil the boxer. Yes. I don't know what he would think about my beard. I was not sporting facial hair. Oh, yes, I was. In the first couple years we knew each other, I had a goatee. Then I shaved it off, and it was off when Basil left us. And then I started growing it out this year, and now I look like a big, hairy Sasquatch. So back in 2003, two guys met for a beer in Melbourne, Australia, and got chatting about how the mustache had disappeared from fashion trends. This is in 2003. Could they bring it back, they wondered? They rounded up 30 male friends to take up the challenge. Inspired by a friend's mother who was fundraising for breast cancer, the group devoted their November campaign to men's health and prostate cancer, and Movember was born. Since then, men have been encouraged to grow mustaches in November to raise awareness of and spark conversations about men's health issues. Movember is the leading charity changing the face of men's health around the world. Fundraising, solo or on teams, can be as easy as adding a donate button to a Facebook post. Yes, yours truly doesn't read Facebook posts anymore, even though I do Facebook posts for this podcast. But men's health statistics in the U.S. are startling. On average, men die 5 years earlier than women. Prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in men, while testicular cancer is the most common cancer in young men. Sadly, more than 37,000 men die by suicide each year, which translates into 3 out of 4 suicides. Right now, the focus is on men and boys of color, veterans, university students, and men in the workforce. A lot of work is focused on transition points in a man's life. Oh, actually, Movember's U.S. country director is Mark Hedstrom, and he says their focus is on transition points. Our goal is to reduce the number of men dying prematurely by 25%, and having, or in other words, splitting the number of deaths in half, and that would be deaths from prostate and testicular cancer. They want to reduce that number by the year 2030. The good news is there are even more ways to raise money and awareness year-round, and anyone can take part. One initiative is called the Move for Movember, where participants run or walk about 60 miles over a month. The number represents the 60 men who are lost to suicide every hour across the U.S. And part of the mission is to change stereotypes. There's a misrepresentation that men don't speak to each other, but they are. They're having conversations in places like ball games, barbershops, and that all came from the magazine known as Costco Connection. And do you know who landed on the cover of a Costco Connection? Paul McCartney. Did Dr. Hook make a song about that? No. On the cover of a Costco Connection, after I picked up my rotisserie chicken. And one last final note about all this: when detected early, testicular cancer is highly treatable and curable. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. I had a college roommate who had testicular cancer and survived and is still alive as far as I know. I stopped talking to him after a while. He got annoying. But I hope he's doing well. Yet more than 60% of men who are most at risk of testicular cancer don't know how to check themselves. Movember's Know Thy... it's called Know Thy Nuts. Makes the campaign, says it's a fun tongue-in-cheek name. Once we have their attention, we can talk to them about what to do if they find something, and there's a how-to guide. If you visit us.movember, that's November with an M, so I guess it'd be Movember.com, and it has all the details that you need to know. Okay, outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Look who's here. Hello, Michael Mesh, it's Madame Rootabega, and I love it when you're talking on the podcast. Oh! Yes, and you heard that tomorrow I'm not going to be able to do one? Yes. I'm going to be very busy tomorrow. Does that make sense? Yes. Are you going to miss my podcast? No.
This is my last word. No!
Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we were very happy to hear about today's topic, and I hope that it helps a lot of people like us today.
Yeah, people like you. Do you know that? Yes. Best dialogue I ever wrote. Just then. Look at that script. Maybe I should donate this script and to the organization. They can sell it and make money and help that. Help their cause. Or maybe you just want to help a cause where you're helping feral cats. A cause with paws. Go back and listen to the last podcast if you're interested in that. Hey, the last podcast had a picture of the cool jungle room. I don't know exactly what this is called, But at the Atlanta airport, there is one of the hallways you can walk through to get from one terminal to the other. It's an art, each one has an art exhibit of some kind in it. And this one has like a bunch of plant life, and you hear birds chirping. It's very colorful, very green. You can see that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com from the last show, FF episode 2331, that one. But this is FF episode 2332, and today's podcast picture is of Podcaster Valley. So see that now at MikesDailyPodcast.com and chime in about anything we covered. 336MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast tries to be, but gets interrupted, like I'll get probably interrupted over the next couple of days. But you can reach me at that phone number, or this information here might be useful.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!